United Airlines, Inc., commonly referred to as United, is a major American airline headquartered in Chicago, Illinois. It is the world's largest airline when measured by number of destinations served, and the second largest when measured by scheduled passenger kilometers flown. United operates a comprehensive domestic and international route network, and has significant presence in the Asia-Pacific region. In the late 1920s, just prior to the use of the United Airlines name, the Boeing Company, currently one of the world's largest aircraft manufacturers, operated a predecessor airline. United was previously known as United Airlines. United is a founding member of Star Alliance, the world's largest global airline alliance. Regional service is operated by independent carriers under the brand name United Express. Its main competitors are American Airlines, Delta Airlines, and Southwest Airlines. United operates out of 9 airline hubs located in Chicago, Denver, Guam, Houston, Los Angeles, Newark, New York, San Francisco, Tokyo and Washington, D.C. George Bush Intercontinental Airport in Houston is United's largest passenger-carrying hub, handling 16.6 million departing passengers annually with an average of 45,413 passengers daily, while Chicago O'Hare is its largest hub in terms of daily departures. The company employs over 86,000 people while maintaining its headquarters in Chicago's Willis Tower. Through the airline's parent company, United Continental Holdings, it is publicly traded under NYSE UAL with a market capitalization of over $18 billion as of September 2014. United operates maintenance bases in Cleveland and Orlando in addition to the maintenance locations located at United's hubs. History. In 1927, aviation pioneer William Boeing founded his airline Boeing Air Transport to operate the San Francisco to Chicago ML route. In 1929, Boeing merged his company with Pratt & Whitney to form the United Aircraft and Transport Corporation, which then set about buying, in the space of just 28 months, Pacific Air Transport, Stout Air Services, Varney Airlines and National Air Transport, as well as numerous equipment manufacturers at the same time. Thus it is said that United Airlines traces its roots to the Varney Airlines airmail service of Walter Varney, who also founded Varney Speedlines, from which Continental Airlines had originated. Founded in Boise, Idaho in 1926, the carrier flew the first contract airmail flight in the U.S. on April 6, 1926, marking the first scheduled airline service in the country's history, with flights between Pasco, Warren, Elko, and via Boise. In 1933, United began operating the Boeing 247, the first all-metal airliner. It was able to fly a transcontinental flight in 20 hours, making it significantly faster than its predecessors. After passage of the Airmail Act in 1934, UATC separated into United Aircraft, the Boeing Airplane Company, and United Airlines. After World War II, United gained from a boom in customer demand for air travel, with its revenue per passenger miles jumping five-fold in the 1950s, and continued growth occurring through the next 2 decades. In 1954, United Airlines became the first airline to purchase modern flight simulators which had visual, sound and motion cues for training pilots, purchased for $3 million from Curtiss-Wright. These were the first of today's modern flight simulators for training of commercial passenger aircraft pilots. United merged with Capital Airlines in 1961 and regained its position as the United States' largest airline. In 1968, the company reorganized, creating UAL Corporation, with United Airlines as a wholly owned subsidiary. In 1970, the UAL Corporation acquired Western International Hotels, and its name was later changed to Western Hotel Company. The 1970s also saw economic turmoil, resulting in stagflation and labor unrest. The 1978 Airline Deregulation Act, resulting in industry shake-ups, further added to the carrier's difficulties in a loss-making period. In 1982, United became the first carrier to operate the Boeing 767, taking its first delivery of 767-200s on August 19. In May 1985, the airline underwent a 29-day pilot strike over management's proposed B-scale pilot pay rates. Then company CEO Richard Ferris changed United's parent company's name from UAL Corporation to Allegiance in February 1987. But following his termination, the company reverted to the name UAL Corp. In May 1988, and divested non-airline properties. In 1985, United expanded dramatically by purchasing Pan Am's entire Pacific division, giving it a prime Asian hub at Tokyo's Narita International Airport, and in 1991 purchased routes to Heathrow Airport from ailing Pan Am, making it one of 2 U.S. carriers permitted exclusive access to Heathrow under Bermuda II until Open Skies took effect in 2008. The aftermath of the Gulf War and increased competition from low-cost carriers led to losses in 1991 and 1992. In 1994, United's pilots, machinists, bag handlers and non-contract employees agreed to an employee stock ownership plan, acquiring 55% of company stock in exchange for 15 to 25% salary concessions, making the carrier the largest employee-owned corporation in the world. The carrier also launched a low-cost subsidiary in 1994, shuttled by United, a high-frequency, West Coast-based operation. In an attempt to compete with low-cost carriers, the subsidiary remained in operation until 2001. In 1995, United became the first airline to introduce the Boeing 777 in commercial service. In 1997, United co-founded the Star Alliance Airline Partnership. In May 2000, United announced a controversial plan to acquire U.S. Airways for $11.6 billion, but withdrew the offer in July 2001 before the United States Department of Justice barred the merger on antitrust grounds due to widespread objection from employee unions, customers and political leaders. May 2000 also saw a bitter contract dispute between United and its pilots' union over pay cuts and concessions to fund the ESOP and overtime work, causing summer flight cancellations until a salary increase was agreed upon. During the September 11, 2001 attacks, 2 of the 4 airliners hijacked and crashed by Al-Qaeda members were United Airlines aircraft. An airline industry downturn resulted, and coupled with economic difficulties, skyrocketing oil prices, and higher labor costs, the company lost $2.14 billion in 2001. In the same year, United applied for a $1.5 billion loan guarantee from the Federal Air Transportation Stabilization Board established in the wake of the September 11 attacks. After attempts to secure additional capital failed, UAL Corporation filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection in December 2002 and the ESOP was terminated. United's bankruptcy operations resulted in furloughing thousands of workers, closing all U.S. city ticket offices, canceling several existing and planned routes, downsizing its Miami operations, closing maintenance bases, replacing employee pensions, and fleet reductions. The carrier also negotiated cost cuts with employees, suppliers, and contractors, and terminated feeder contracts with United Express carriers Atlantic Coast Airlines and Air Wisconsin. The carrier launched a new, all-coach, low-cost carrier named TED in 2003, and a luxury P.S. coast-to-coast service on reconfigured 757s in 2004. In 2005, United cancelled its pension plan in the largest such default in U.S. corporate history. In 2005, United announced it had raised $3 billion in financing to exit bankruptcy and filed its plan of reorganization, as announced. On September 7, 2005, United Airlines emerged from bankruptcy on February 1, 2006. In late 2006, Continental Airlines participated in preliminary merger discussions with United. On June 4, 2008, United announced it would close its TED unit and reconfigure the subsidiary's aircraft for a return to mainline configuration. On April 16, 2010, United resumed merger talks with Continental Airlines. The board of directors of both Continental and UAL corporations United Airlines reached an agreement to combine operations on May 2, 2010. While United would be the surviving airline, the merged airline would adopt Continental's logo and livery. Continental's CEO Jeff Smisek would head the new company. The merger was contingent upon shareholder and regulatory approval. The United Continental merger was approved by the European Commission in July 2010 and by the U.S. Justice Department on August 27, 2010. On September 17, 2010, United's shareholders approved the merger deal with Continental Airlines. On October 1, 2010, UAL Corporation changed its name to United Continental Holdings, Inc., to reflect that both United Airlines, Inc., and the company are its wholly owned subsidiaries. Both carriers plan to begin merging operations in 2011 to form the world's biggest carrier. The airline began operating under a single operating certificate from the FAA on November 30, 2011, in the process retaining Continental's Air Operator's Certificate and surrendering the one of the original United. On March 3, 2012, United and AMP Continental merged the passenger service systems, frequent flyer programs, and websites, virtually eliminating the Continental brand in the eye of the consumer. In October 2015, United Airlines appointed Brett J. Hart as its acting CEO, 4 days after Chief Executive Oscar Munoz suffered a heart attack. Predecessors United Airlines is a combination of a number of air carriers that have merged with each other starting in the 1930s, with the most recent being Continental Airlines, thus reflecting changes in focus of both United and the U.S. air transport market. Predecessor air carriers that formed the present United Airlines include Boeing Air Transport, Capital Airlines, Continental Airlines, Air Micronesia, New York Air, Pioneer Airlines, People Express Airlines, Frontier Airlines, Arizona Airways, Central Airlines, Challenger Airlines, Monarch Airlines, Texas International Airlines. Continental Airlines merged into Texas Air in 1982, with Texas Air changing its name to Continental. National Air Transport, Pacific Air Transport, Pan American World Airways, Varney Airlines. Many of these acquisitions and mergers were completed by Continental Airlines when this carrier was under the ownership and control of Texas Air Corporation from 1982 to 1987. During that time period, New York Air and Texas International Airlines were merged into Continental. Texas Air Corporation subsequently acquired People Express Airlines and then folded these air carriers into Continental as well. As for United, before merging with Continental, it had acquired Capital Airlines in the 1960s and had also purchased Pan Am's Pacific Division as well as Pan Am's transatlantic route rights into Heathrow Airport during the 1980s. Corporate identity. Brand image. The pre-merger United logo, commonly nicknamed the Cula, was first developed in the early 1970s after the airline commissioned designer Saul Bass to develop a new brand image. The logo skillfully represented the airline's monogram as well as a modernized version of the airline's shield logo, which had been adopted in the 1930s, but fell out of use by the late 1960s. The ribbon-like rendering has also been said to symbolize the motion of flight. The Saul Bass livery was updated in 1988 to feature larger lettering on the fuselage, with the rainbow stripes on the side moved down to accommodate the new space. The next livery update came in the early 1990s. The CKS Group designed Battleship, a gray fuselage with dark blue underbelly and engines with blue stripes on the vertical stabilizer, a smaller Q-lip on the vertical stabilizer. A smaller, more refined version of the rainbow stripes from the previous livery were incorporated as well. This livery debuted on January 11, 1993. In 2004, the Pentagram-developed Rising Blue livery featured a white and lighter blue fuselage, along with a cropped version of the tulip on the tail. In 2010, the newly merged United adopted Continental Airlines' 1991 livery scheme, which included the Continental globe symbol. The current United livery consists of a white upper fuselage, with a gold globe on a blue tail fin, and a gray underbelly. All mainline aircraft are now painted in this livery, save for the airframes listed in special liveries below, which include two retro liveries. Boeing 787 Dreamliners use a modified version of the livery, with a wavy e-gold stripe painted along both sides of the fuselage. Historical logos. Marketing themes. United resurrected its popular "Fly the Friendly Skies" slogan in September 2013. Until September 2013, the slogan, adopted after the merger of United and Continental in October 2010, was "Let's Fly Together." This replaced the slogan, "It's Time to Fly," created in 2004. United's earlier slogan, "The Mainline Airway," emphasized its signature New York, Chicago, San Francisco route, and was replaced in 1965 with "Fly the Friendly Skies." The "Friendly Skies" tagline was in use until 1996 in its first iteration. On September 20, 2013, United announced a return of the "Fly the Friendly Skies" slogan in an ad campaign to start the following day. The resurrected slogan will be accompanied by the "Rhapsody in Blue" theme song and a voiceover provided by Matt Damon. United's theme song is George Gershwin's 1924 "Rhapsody in Blue," which it licensed from Gershwin's estate for $500,000 in 1976. Rhapsody would have entered the public domain in 2000, but the Sonny Bono Copyright Term Extension Act of 1998 extended its copyright another 20 years. United announced that it would continue to use "Rhapsody in Blue" as its theme song following the merger with Continental. Sponsorships. United is a major sponsor of 6 of Chicago's 7 major professional sports teams: the Bears, Blackhawks, Bulls, Fire, Sky and White Sox. It had previously served as a sponsor of the Chicago Cubs. However, the club signed a deal with United's O'Hare rival American Airlines in 2015. United also flies the U.S. Olympic Team D C. United, Denver Broncos, Golden State Warriors, Kansas City Royals, Kansas City Chiefs, Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, Los Angeles Dodgers, Los Angeles Rams, Miami Marlins, San Francisco 49ers, SF Giants, San Jose Earthquakes, San Jose Sharks, Sporting KC, Washington Capitals, Washington Mystics, Washington Redskins and Washington Wizards. The Blackhawks and Bulls play the games in the United Center, which the airline holds the naming rights to until 2033. Through its merger with Continental Airlines, United also became the official airline of the Brooklyn Nets, Buffalo Bills, Cleveland Indians, Cleveland Cavaliers, Cleveland Browns, New York Giants, New Jersey Devils, Houston Dynamo, Houston Texans, Houston Astros, and all of the New York Road Runners races. The Houston Rockets had used them as their airline sponsor. They signed a deal with Southwest in 2015. United sponsors all Tuesday subscription concerts of the Chicago Symphony Orchestra. Corporate Affairs. Headquarters. In 2007, United Airlines moved its headquarters and its 350 top executives from its headquarters at 1200 East Algonquin Road in suburban Elk Grove Township to 77 West Wacker Drive after considering alternate locations in Denver, Colorado and San Francisco, California. The Elk Grove Village campus was renamed an operations center when United Airlines consolidated several of its offices in the suburbs of Chicago into the Elk Grove Village campus, after the city of Chicago submitted a $35 million incentive, including $10 million in grants for United to move its remaining employees to Chicago. United proceeded to schedule a move of about 2,500 employees out of the former Elk Grove Township headquarters and into Willis Tower in downtown Chicago. Monica Davey of the New York Times said that the move may have contributed to United's decision to base the newly merged United Continental Holdings out of Chicago instead of Houston. On May 31, 2012, United opened its new operations center at Willis Tower in downtown Chicago. The company occupies 16 floors of the Willis Tower. Other facilities. UAL, United Airlines parent company prior to its merger with Continental Airlines, previously held majority ownership stakes in several major travel and leisure companies. UAL's former subsidiaries include international hotel chains Westin Hotels and Resorts and Hilton Hotels Corporation, as well as global car rental company Hertz. UAL sold or spun off most of its assets not related to its core airline operations during the 1980s and 90s. United formerly owned the Waikiki Seaside Hotel, a hotel in Honolulu, Hawaii, which was used by its flight crews and was sold in February 2012. Environmental strategy. On August 23, 2011, United announced a conversion to paperless flight decks and deployed 11,000 iPads to all United pilots. Each iPad, which weighs less than 1.5 pounds, replaced approximately 38 pounds of paper operating manuals, navigation charts, reference handbooks, flight checklists, logbooks and weather information in a pilot's flight bag. The electronic flight bags replaced conventional flight bags full of paper materials that contains an average of 12,000 sheets of paper per pilot, and as a first for major network carriers provide pilots with paperless aeronautical navigational charts through an iPad app. The green benefits of moving to EFBs include reductions in paper use, printing, and fuel consumption. Distribution of the iPads began in early August 2011, and all pilots were using them by the year's end. On November 7, 2011, United Airlines flew the world's first commercial aviation flight on a microbially derived biofuel using SolarJet trademark sign. SolarSime's algae-derived renewable jet fuel, and fueled with 40% SolarJet and 60% petroleum-derived jet fuel. This was operated by the EcoSky's Boeing 737-800 aircraft on a flight from Houston to Chicago. On July 12, 2012, United announced an order for 100 Boeing 737 MAX 9s, a new, more fuel-efficient version of the Boeing 737 family. These aircraft will be used to replace the less fuel-efficient domestic fleet of Boeing 757-200s. On January 15, 2013, aviation partners Boeing announced that United had placed an order to retrofit its existing Boeing next-generation 737s blended winglets with APB's new split-scimitar winglet. The program consists of retrofitting 737 NG's winglets by replacing the aluminum winglet tip cap with a new aerodynamically shaped scimitar winglet tip cap and by adding a new scimitar-tipped ventral strake. This modification demonstrated significant aircraft drag reduction over the basic blended winglet configuration. The new APB winglet technology was estimated to save United more than $250 million per year in jet fuel costs fleet-wide. Labor. All United Airlines pilots are represented by the Airline Pilots Association. A new joint collective bargaining agreement was ratified by a majority of the United Continental pilots on December 15, 2012, which struck down a scope clause that disallowed Continental from outsourcing the flying of regional jets with 70 or more passenger seats. Animal transport. In 2013, after pressure from PETA, United announced that it would no longer transport monkeys to laboratories. United was the last North American passenger airline to transport these animals to laboratories. Cybersecurity. In a first for the U.S. airline industry, United awarded airline miles as bug bounties to hackers who could identify gaps in the carrier's web security. 2 hackers have each been rewarded with 1 million miles of air travel as of July 15, 2015. This cybersecurity program was announced a few weeks before the company experienced 2 software glitches. The first incident delayed 150 United flights on June 2 due to a problem with its flight dispatching system. 6 days later, United's reservation system delayed flights by not allowing passengers to check in. In addition to the bug bounty program, United said it tests systems internally and engages cybersecurity firms.